A very good afternoon, everybody. Today, in this ongoing session of presentations made by the students on comparative studies and translation studies, today we have a fourth article to be introduced by the group of students. Today's article is on, which is written by Todd Presner, and it is on comparative literature in the age of digital humanities, on possible futures for a discipline. Uh, Let us see what the students have prepared for their the introductory presentation. So I request the group of students to present it. We have today Rosmin, Divya, Meeta, and Khushi making presentation. You can start now.
Hello everyone, myself Khushi Ravya, and today our group is leading this topic, comparative literature in the age of digital humanities on possible futures for a discipline by Todd Presner. Extract. Our research problem is the article addresses the challenge of how comparative literature can adapt to sweeping transformation brought by digital technologies and such as digital media, data proliferation, new authorship models, and collaborative platforms which are reshaping knowledge production, scholarly practice, and disciplinary structures. It questions how a field should redefine its methods, media assumptions, and institutional roles in the digital age. Objective is to analyze how digital technologies like hypermedia, web platforms, data analytics, collaborative authorship are reshaping the foundation of comparative literature, and to explore possible futures for the discipline through frameworks like comparative media studies, comparative data studies, and comparative authorship and platform studies. To argue for the active engagement to humanities in shaping digital culture, authorship norms, and knowledge systems, and to examine how to humanities can rethink authorship, assess legitimacy, and collaboration in a rapidly changing media ecosystem. Methodology is a prisoner use a conceptual analytic approach, and that includes a media specific analysis comparing print and digital norms, and theoretical engagement with scholars like Hallis, Moretti, and Kittler, and comparative analysis of traditional literary practices versus digital platforms, and case illustration is to demonstrate disciplinary changes. And key findings is digital technology transform authorship, textuality, and scholarly practices, and making a print no longer central. And contemporary literature must adopt the new analytical tools such as distance reading, machine reading, and data visualization. Knowledge production is now collaborative, participatory, and platform dependent. The field's future lies and integrating media studies, data studies, and platform studies to remain relevant. Key point of article, and we are in a watershed moment equal to earlier revolution like print. Watershed movement means a movement and a period which remarks a major turning point, and its influence future developments significantly. And technology reshapes time, space, knowledge, and cultural exchange. And every technology has a dialectical underbelly, like liberation plus control. and print is no longer the natural or dominated medium of scholarship, and comparative literature must confront digital media platforms and new forms of knowledge. Key arguments: digital changes are rapid, occurring in months and years, not in centuries, and print saved institutions, disciplines, and knowledge production for 500 years, and digital media require rethinking the materiality of text as embodied entities. Humanities must engage in digital culture to prevent corporate control, and authorship, assess legitimacy, and scholarly publishing must be reconsidered. Historical shift from print to digital. This is the original quote from article. After 500 years of print, we are in the midst of another watershed moment in human history. Printing press revolutionized communication, literacy, and knowledge, and discovery of the new world reshaped economies, cultures, and power. Digital technologies now create a parallel global transformation, and networking technologies compress time and space. These my learning outcomes. I understand digital transformation as a historical watershed comparable to the invention of a print and earlier global revolutions. I can explain how digital technologies reshape knowledge production and scholarly practices, challenging print center transitions, and I can critically analyze change in textuality and authorship, and including the idea of a text as embodied media specific entities. I can apply emerging frameworks and methods such as comparative media studies, data studies, and distance reading and machine reading to the study of comparative literature. And I can evaluate the role of humanities in shaping digital culture, and especially in relation to assess collaboration, legitimacy, and corporate control. Thank you. This is from my side. Now, for further information, I would like to invite Rosmi.
So, hello everyone, myself Rosmin. I deal with a dialectic of technology. Every technology has a dialectical underbelly, facilitating and democratizations and the exclusionary control. In this quote, this meaning a technology can empower, educate, and connect the people, but can also excludes the control and restrict. Technology can support a democratization but also enable a several manipulations and the violence. Digital tools show this duality just like earlier technologies like a radio and railway used for both liberations and the operations. And this dual nature of technology is the insurance from understanding modern comparative literature and digital humanities. Encourage the critical thinking about the how technology shape a culture, access, and the power. My second slide about the explorations of the digital data. The key evidence like Google, Gesture, Twitter, Facebook, and in that the scale of data is far too large for a human to analyze manually. Understanding such data require like a machine reading, metadata processing, algorithms, visualizations, tools. These tools allow a research to explore a culture and literature beyond the limited limits of prints. Digital data open a new path from a pattern recognized text meaning and a global comparison. So, comparative media studies. In my key points, the visual term explore a comparative literature into art, history, photography, film, and television. But now, in the original article, I read that digital media offer a moral, a fundamental challenge because they reshape both text and the scholarly environment we work it. So digital media change the media assume the built into the work we traditionally study. The tool scholar use the platform where research is created and shared. According to Tedros Nelson's, digital media are always already hypermedia and hypertextual. Hypertext systems are interconnected, allow annotations growth, mutabilities could grow in defining gradually, including a more and more of the world's written knowledge. Digital media environment like the web create a multimodal literature combine a text, image, audio, video, map, and interactive. The shift is from a reading online text to study a system of meditation. So, what comparative media study does? So, study a surface structures of media, page, screen, map, metadata, and image. Analyze how media are reproduced, circulated, and the share. Explore examining the role of intertextuals and the power in shaping a knowledge. They focus on interface and design, navigations and the layout, indexing and the access. Recognize that scholar work is now a multi model mixing a text, image, video, data, and map. Look at the layout, visual organization, and the circuitry pathway in digital work. Raises key questions: who is author? What is a work? What connect as a text online? Emphasize interactive collaborations and non-linear form of scholarship. So, comparative data study. I use some of the original line of that article. Google has already digitized and indexed more than 10 million books, and enabling a scholar to perform a complex search, discover a patterns, and explore a large data set into a tool like a GIS. Cultural Cultural analytics bring the tool of high-end computational analysis and data visualization. This allow a research to study a large cultural data set using a computations and the visualizations. Data set include every short form of Verto as insert insertage films, 20th century US magazines, millions collected work, tweets, SMS, and search trends. So, meaning, argumentations, and the interpretations work are not limited to the insight of text. Comparative data studies, therefore, blend a close reading with a distance reading to offer both a micro and a micro insight. So, Boden and Canon to include a digitized a cultural object born a digital work like a blog, video, map, photos, and hypermedia. Megan's idea of the digital OED as a metabook show how a digital books recognize the print at a higher level throughout the indexing, hyperlink, and annotations. Digital book exists in n demoslices space, expanding a archive across the space, time, platform, and mode of access. So my learning outcome from the idea that every technology has a dialectical underbelly. So I learned that technology always have a two side. It can empower a people and connect the culture, but it can also create a several excessive and manipulations. I realized that how a hug today's information every environment is with billions of URLs and twitters and texts. So I learned that human reading alone is not enough. So throughout the comparative media study, I learned why digital media offer a moral fundamental challenge. The idea from Theodore Nelson's the hypertext could grow in the could grow. I use some quote in my in original articles that could grow indefinitely throughout me how a digital texts are filled interconnected and the open-ended. From a comparative data study, I learned how big data is transforming a learning research. The line like Google have already digitized and indexed more than 10 million book opened my eyes to the scale of digital archive. So finally, I learned that a digital book exists in n-dimensional space with which means a scholarship now a move across the platform, timeline, media type, and a global network. This is my side. I will like to invite Divya Paletra.
Thank you, Rosmin and Khushi Ravia, for essential information. And now I'm dealing with collaborative authorship and Web 2.0. We no long. This is original line from original text or original article by Todd Presner. And here we no longer just browse but actively engage in production, annotation, and evolution. So this statement emphasizes that the digital world transforms us from passive browsers into active participants who shape, annotate, and evaluate cultural knowledge. And here, key points like a shift from individual to collective authorship, digital culture, decentralized authority, text evolves through continuous contributions, edits, and annotations. Web 2.0 a party as a participatory ecosystem. Presner notes that the web encourages constant modification, participation, and feedback loops. These contrast sharply with the fixed, stable nature of a printed text. And here, crowdsourcing as a cultural production platform allow ordinary users, not only scholars, to contribute definitions, explanations, translations, and cultural knowledge. Annotation as interaction, hypertext link, embedded audio, video, and multimodal comments turn reading into collaborative meaning making, not passive consumption. Scholarly authority becomes network. Knowledge is validated through transparency, revision history, then share reference and collective intelligence, not through single authorship. Creative commons culture. Presner highlight the rise of CC means commons culture, license enabling open sharing, remixing, and reuse, undermining proprietary control of knowledge. This shift represent a new epistemology. Knowledge exists in a flows, updates, edits, and interaction, not static forms. And here, platform studies like a platform are not a neutral. They shape what we see, how we read, and what becomes visible or hidden. They create algorithmically curated knowledge ecosystem what scholar must study. So in this image also we see interface design, how we navigate text, metadata, tags, and categories that control searchability, database structure, how information is stored and linked. Then fourth one is navigation paths. Every user experience the text differently. And Todd Presner's insight is meaning is shaped by algorithms, recommendations, and platform biases. The comparative literature must analyze system, codes, and structure, not only text. And here, new scholarly platforms. Here, each article is a project that explores the complex interrelation between form and content. Presner reminds us that every digital article is a carefully conducted project where the medium is its visual links, sound, and structure shape how the content is understood. So here the first vector. So here the first vectors: USC and Annenberg multimedia and peer-reviewed digital scholarship uses video, audio, animation, coding, and narrative layers. Shows the Presner's point that digital scholarship cannot fit into PDF or print formats. Then second one is the scholars Alliance for networking visual culture enables building non-linear books, integrate maps, images, videos, timelines, and embedded archives. Encourages scholars to create multipath arguments instead of a linear chapter. Reflects on Presner's idea that a scholarship becomes a design environment. And third one is a hypercity like an interactive digital mapping project, integrating history, geography, and culture. Allows users to travel through cities across time layers. Exemplify Todd Presner's claim that digital humanity blends archive plus maps plus narrative and plus community engagement. So here fourth one is the connection. OpenStax, global open access educational resource, supports remixing and reusing scholarly modules. Demonstrate Presner's commitment to democratize knowledge and impact on challenges the print centric academic values like a fixed authorship and linear argumentation. Supports public scholarship, open access to knowledge as a human right. Promotes multimodalities integrating visual, spatial, sonic, and data driven elements. Redefines a scholarly contribution as a more than a written article, not include platform, tools, design, and interactive system. And here ethics, access, and power. So here key argument like digital technologies is equal to sides of power. Presner emphasized the political dimension of digital culture, reminding scholars that technologies are never neutral. First one is surveillance and data extraction. Digital system track reading habits, edits, browsing patterns. Then raises a concern about academic freedom and user privacy. Second one is corporate dominance. Companies like Google, Disney, Sony, Apple, and Meta control search protocol, metadata standards, cloud storage, digital archive. This mean cultural heritage is often privatized within corporate ecosystem. And here, unequal access, a digital divide persists in global south versus global north, rural versus urban areas, gender gaps, class and caste-based digital barriers. Access is not universal. This shape who gets to produce and consume knowledge. Fourth one is open access as ethical responsibility. Presner argue for creative commons, public domain protection, free to access scholarship, transparent digital infrastructure. He insists humanity scholars must fight for public knowledge in a privatizing digital world. And fifth one is humanist as the ethical guides. So here humanist must question on who control cultural data, who builds the algorithms, and whose voices are represented or excluded. Digital humanities must be a critical discipline, not just a technological one. And here in my learning outcome, epistemological shift in authority. I understand deeper insight into how collaborative authorship shift the role of the reader into an active participant, fundamentally reshaping traditional ideas of originality and expert authority in literary and academic culture. Then platform as ideological system. Recognize that digital platform function as ideological system, a system and structure of power, influencing what becomes visible, searchable, accessible, or silence in digital culture. Then algorithmic mediation of meaning. I understood that algorithmic interface design, metadata, and database architecture play a major non-neutral role in shaping meaning, interpretation, and knowledge hierarchies within algorithmically curated knowledge ecosystem. Imperative for openness. I realized the importance of ethical engagement, where scholars must actively advocate for creative commons, open access, transparency, and the democratization of cultural knowledge against forces of privatization and corporate control. And last one is need for critical literacy. I appreciated the essential need for critical digital literacy, technical and critical fluency, allowing scholars to navigate, analyze, and ethically questions the power structure embedded within digital infrastructure and platform logic. So this was from my side, and now for further information, I would like to invite Mita Jambuja.
So hello everyone, myself Mita Chambucha, and today I will dealing about future of comparative literature in digital humanities. So Presner proposes four new futures for discipline. First, comparative media studies and comparative data studies and comparative authorship studies and comparative platform studies. So first we start with comparative media studies. It was focuses on the how meaning changes with different media. Printed book and ebook, a website or video do not communicate in the same way. So scholar must study the material form, design, and technology behind text. Importantly, all media are connected to power and history, who controls them and who gets access. Then comparative data studies. Today we have a huge amount of digital data, millions of books and texts. It is impossible to read everything closely. So scholars now combine close reading with distant reading using computers. Tools like text mining helps us see pattern across cultures, language, and time periods. Then comparative authorship studies. In the digital world, writing is often collaborative. Think of blogs, wikis, and online research projects. So authorship is no longer limited to one person. Scholarship become participatory, where knowledge is shared and developed collectively. Then comparative platform studies. A scholar studies that platform that shape knowledge, like Google Books or online archives. Platform are not neutral. Their design, interface, and algorithms influence how we read and understand text. Therefore, literally scholars must study how knowledge is organized and controlled online. Then, critical humanism in the digital age. The Presner strongly believe that humanists are more important than ever today. First, humanists help protect cultural heritage, especially digital texts, and may disappear or be misused. Second, they must challenge the growing corporate control over knowledge, where companies decide what we can access. Third, they support open knowledge, fair access, and ethical digital practices. Digital humanities is not just about technology. It requires technical skill combined with human values, such as ethics, interpretation, and cultural understanding. Then, limitation and critical reflection. Digital technology is powerful, but it is also has serious limitation. Every technology has a positive and negative sides. While it helps sharing information, it can also erase exclusion and inequality. There is a digital divide. Not everyone has equal access to digital tools. Most digital data is Western centered, and language also depending too much on computers and can weaken critical thinking and interpretation. Therefore scholars must not just use technology, they must question, redesign, and even challenge it. The goal is to build a more inclusive, ethical, and multilingual digital future. So conclusion. Digital technology reshape all except of humanities scholarship, marking a paradigm shift equal to the invention of print. Comparative literature must expand its purview into multimedia, data, and platform environment, because print is no longer the normative or exclusive medium. Scholars must actively confront the specificity of the digital medium, the new modes of authorship, and the resulting architectures of power. The future depends on blending the powerful computational tools of a digital age with long-standing critical and interpretative tradition of humanistic insight. Then learning outcome. I understand that the future direction of comparative literature in digital humanities, including media, data authorship, and platform studies, then analyze literary and cultural texts beyond print by recognizing media specificity, digital formats, and system of dissemination. This disguise between close reading and distance reading, and evaluate how computational method complement humanistic interpretation. Then recognize challenging models of authorship in the digital age, including collaborative and participatory knowledge production. Then critically examine digital platform as the ideological structure and shaping knowledge, power, and access. Then appreciate the renewed role of humanist in preserving culture heritage, promoting digital literacy, and challenging corporative controls. Identify ethical concern and a limitation of digital humanities, such as digital inequality, data bias, and over reliance on computational. Conclude that the future of comparative literature lies in balancing digital tools with humanistic sensitivity for inclusive and creative scholarship. There are references. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So fine. Quite well presented the summary of the entire article. Okay. So first, let us see the questions.
So, Mita, as you have discussed about the future of comparative data studies, so my question is, why is comparative data studies relevant in the age of big data and AI?
Comparative data study relevant in age of big data and AI today because we see lots of digital tools in internet, and it helps scholar to it helps scholar to read read everything, and it helps scholar to see about pattern and trends in culture, and it while still allowing a human to pretend and result to the.
So Divya, my question is, why is textual analysis inadequate when meaning is algorithmically curated? And what critically digital literacy must scholars develop to interpret digital works?
Traditional textual analysis is insufficient because digital platforms act as a design environment where meaning is shaped not just by the text, but by the but by the non-neutral elements like algorithm and metadata and and interface biases, and to correctly develop meaning as algorithmically. So focus on their beyond, not just on a text, also on what is a content and what is a digital work. So that means scholars are more focused on their digital work. So this was from our side.
Okay, so good questions about textual analysis and comparative data studies. With this article, we connect this with what we have discussed in digital humanities. And here we connect both the things together, comparative literature studies and digital humanities, how that becomes important. The writer, Todd Presner, he tries to connect this with, let me share one screen, with the idea of fourth information age. He's talking about fourth information age. Though the nomenclature of all these ages, whether it is second, third, fourth, fifth, it keeps on changing from person to person. But if we keep in mind, like if this is fourth, then how do we name the previous three? So the first, as per even this article, is an era of writing. First age of writing, writing on stones, writing in caves. So any form of writing that starts from oral to writing, when we go and we start documenting our knowledges in some form, then that becomes the first age of information. Somewhere independently, some information is stored, which the people coming after them can read. That way we see information. Second comes with print era, printing press, the Renaissance time, and we still have lots of printing things with us, and it is seen as a great influencer in terms of knowledge creation, spread of knowledge, people becoming intelligent, and that all is connected with that. Then we come into the third age, that is digital age, late 20th century, last decade, 20 years, and this 25 years, around 40 years, we can say, is a digital age, and how internet and other thing played a vital role. The fourth age is this emerging AI era. So now in AI era, how the data, the information, the knowledge is not only preserved for the posterity, like in caves or on stones or in printing books or on computers in digital form or data storage, hard drives, CDs. Not only that, but now the information is acting upon itself. It is generating information. Machines are developing the capacity to create information. So that is the new era in which we are emerging, or we have now entered into this fourth age. And that is where Todd Presner says that the studies of data, media, platforms, authorship, the very question of authorship comes here. In all the previous ages, humans were the authors. Now the challenge is coming against the authorship. Now the machines are also creating with us. Like this infographic is created with the help of machine. You also are preparing your presentations, taking help of machines in summarizing the article, in creating infographics, everything. So it is like, it is a collaborator now. AI is a group member working with us and helping us in doing some several things related to information. So the question of authorship and that comes. So within this all gamut, this article, we have to lock it and we have to discuss this. Okay, so we continue our discussion in classroom. We are ending the live stream here and we continue the discussion in the class.